Hello and welcome to Sevenoaks in Kent. This is a very familiar station to me, and today I will be reviewing Southeastern's Class 375 Electrostar to St Leonard's Warriors Square in Sussex. Sevenoaks' main concourse is rather basic but very functional. There are a very small number of eateries, a piano, and the basics, such as destination displays and ticket officers' machines. Also necessary, there's some benches to sit and rate, although I remember back in the day that there was a leather sofa here, so in context it's a bit of a downgrade. At least the concourse is nice and bright and airy. Anyways, I'm not hanging around here, so time to head to the platforms. Our train today will be departing from platform 3 out of a total of 4. And platform 3 is used for services into Kent and Sussex from London. And that train on the right is on platform 3, and that's the same type of train which we're reviewing, a Class 375, however is travelling further into Kent to Ramsgate. Services departing Sevenoaks are mainly operated by Southeastern. However, there is one train every half an hour to London Blackfriars operated by Thameslink. This is an all-stop service which runs via Bromley South and the Chatham Main Line. Southeastern also run a half-hourly stopper service to London going to Charing Cross. Platform 3 serves trains into further Kent and into Sussex, such as to Hastings, which is our service, as well as to Ashford International, Dover Priory, Canterbury West and Ramsgate. These trains run fast from London and in the opposite direction depart from platform 1. Our journey to St Leonard's Warriors Square is expected to take just over an hour. One feature I find really useful about Southeastern, and I'm not sure if they do it in the rest of the country, they probably do, but as you just saw, it shows you where the trains are between. Additionally, on metro services, it tells you your train type. And here comes our train, the 1020 Southeastern service to Hastings, operated by two 4-coach Class 375 Electrostars. Our front unit is 375819. Right, that boarding was a tad chaotic. I didn't quite expect it to be that busy. Anyway, we'll move on time. I don't know how to do fancy map graphics like some other review YouTubers do, but today's journey will be along the Southeastern Main Line and then the 1066 line. We will travel on the Southeastern Main Line as far as Tonbridge and then diverge onto the 1066 line, past Tunbridge Wells and on the way to Hastings. We will alight one stop before Hastings, about a mile away, at St Leonard's Warriors Square. Immediately after leaving Sevenoaks, we pass Sevenoaks Gusset siding, often which holds Thameslink Class 700s. Unfortunately, things aren't starting off great. This window definitely needs a bit of cleaning. It's a bit hard to see with scenery out of, a bit inconvenient. But oh well, the scenery we can see is already promising and we've barely left Sevenoaks. And we're now on the approach to Tonbridge, a town on the River Medway and an arguably better bus service than Sevenoaks.
We will shortly be arriving at Tunbridge, changing over services to Paddockwood, Ash International, Canterbury, Maidstone and the Kent Coast, or for southern services to Edenbridge and Redhill with connections on towards Gatwick airports. If you leave us here, please ensure you have all your belongings with you. If you see anything unattended or anything that doesn't look quite right, please inform a member of staff or send a text to the British Transport Police on 61016. Once again, we are now arriving at Tunbridge.
We will shortly be arriving at Tunbridge.
And after waiting here for a few minutes, we are on the move again. Almost immediately after leaving Tonbridge, we diverge away from the Southeastern main line on to the 1066 line, also known as the Hastings Line. Services to Hastings from Charing Cross run along the whole of the line, which is fairly simple, with connections to the South East main line at Tunbridge, to the Marshlinc line at Hastings, and to the East Coastway at St Leonard's Warrior Square. Right, time for a most fundamental part of review, for a seat tour. There's a large table, incredibly sturdy, and incredibly clean. The only thing which would be nice to see is a groove for cups. There is an armrest at every seat, nicely padded, although fixed on the window side. A rather nice headrest sort of thing, although not winged, and comfortable seats, which are normal for Electrostars. As part of a very recent refurbishment in 2024, this train has been fitted with one 3-pin plug socket and 2 USB-A sockets per seat. Legroom generally is very nice, although I'm in a priority seat, but this time I actually really need it. Still, from experience, not in a priority seat, it is just about enough. And for the basics of the seat tour, that's it. Anyway, here's Hive Rooms, and as you've probably spotted, I've changed seats. The train's got a lot quieter, and I definitely needed the extra legroom. I vaguely remember reading somewhere, I'm not sure where, but that with the 2015 refurbishment of these units, the table design is meant to represent the White Cliffs of Dover.
And the Spa Valley Railway.
You missed half of that, but one thing I like about Southeastern's announcements is how they provide information on local attractions to stops that they're serving. Anyway, continuing on for a tiny bit of a seat tour, these trains are fitted with reading lights for each seat, luggage racks above the seats, and pegs for coats or bags, although I see them hardly used.
You'll be leaving us here, please mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please ensure you have all your belongings with you, and if you see anything unattended or anything that doesn't look quite right, please inform a member of staff or send a text to the British Transport Police on 61016. Going forward from Tunbridge Wells, we will be calling at all stations to Hastings. Once again, we will shortly be arriving at Tunbridge Wells,
which is our last station in Kent before entering Sussex. Officially, the full name is Royal Tunbridge Wells. It's famous for the Pantiles and the Spa Valley Railway, although I know it's for its good Wetherspoons.
We will shortly be arriving at Tunbridge Wells. Please mind the gap between the platform and the train. In the interests of your safety and security, CCTV is in operation on this service. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it. Welcome aboard this Southeastern service to Hastings, calling at Fratt, Wadhurst, Stonegate, Etchingham, Robertsbridge, Battle, Crowhurst, West St Leonard's Warrior Square, and Hastings.
Just like at Sevenoaks, straight out of a station and immediately into a tunnel. One of my favourite things about travelling with Southeastern is the quality of their Wi-Fi, and on this journey this was no exception. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi now is slightly worse than that which was used on Govia, whose franchise was terminated in 2021. And onboard entertainment seems to have been scrapped, but for the main part, the Wi-Fi still seems to work, which is the most important bit because I would not like to waste mobile data. And we're now out of Kent and into Sussex. Specifically, we are in East Sussex. Anyways, fortunately, I did not have to do a toilet review today as it was out of order. However, there always seems to be one broken on a 375, and so this is a genuine concern of mine. And on a completely unrelated note, we are now arriving at Frant, as just said by Julie Berry, aka the onboard announcements.
Welcome aboard this Southeastern service to Hastings.
I mentioned about Wi-Fi being better when Govia ran the Southeastern franchise, and I think one of the biggest issues I have is that nowadays with the Wi-Fi it struggles to work when there is poor areas of mobile data connection. Of course, I don't know much about tech, but on a line like this where there is limited, it does mean that it's difficult to use. Anyway, enough about my rant. I should be excited because there's snow.
Arriving at Wadhurst.
One thing I quite like about the 1066 line is how most of the stations have staggered platforms. That is, one platform starts on one end and the opposite platform starts on a completely different end, and it means that for part of it you have no platform opposite you.
Welcome aboard this Southeastern service to Hastings, calling at Stonegate, Etchingham, Robertsbridge, Battle, Crowhurst, West St Leonard's Warrior Square, and Hastings.
One of the nice things about the 375 is the lighting. It's fairly mellow, and with some lights not being used, it creates a calm atmosphere. Something which some newer trains, such as the Class 800 seen on LNER and GWR, could learn from. Right, time for a very quick snippet about the history of the Class 375. Part of the Electrostar family, the 375s were built at Lichchurch Lane in Derby from 1999 to 2001 by Adtrans, and from 2001 to 2004 by Bombardier. These trains replaced slam-door stock, the Class 365, which was then moved over to West Anglia Great Northern, and Class 508 units. There are 5 variants of the Class 375, the Dash 3, which is 3 coaches, the Dash 6, which has a pantograph fitted for use on overhead wires, the Dash 7, which I think is the same as the Dash 6 minus the pantograph, and the Dash 8 and Dash 9, which have a slightly different headlight design. The Dash 9 variant, fortunately what we are not on, is the most different of them all. The Dash 9 in standard class has got a 3+2 configuration, meaning that there are 3 seats on one side and 2 on the other, which make it a lot more compact. They also don't have any armrests, and the seats are significantly more uncomfortable. However, they are designed for commuter travellers. The Class 375 was refurbished between 2015 and 2018, with a completely different livery, i.e. the thing that's on the exterior that makes the train look pretty, and a completely different interior. By different, I only mean that the colours have changed and that there are new carpets. Additionally, first class moved on most units to the middle of the train, however first class no longer exists on Southeastern services. They were further refurbished in 2024 with new LED lights and plug sockets and USB sockets at every seat. The automated announcements are probably fed up of me talking about the history, and so are you. So, here is Stonegate. Right, let's check how our journey is doing on real-time trains. Generally, it seems to be on time, but we seem to have been delayed by Tunbridge Wells. But to be honest, I didn't even seem to notice a wait, and if anything, I felt like we were delayed at Tonbridge, which actually was just being on time. An odd thing I find about this route, and you can't really see it here, but is the different spellings between Tonbridge and Tunbridge Wells. And many people get confused about this. I believe both used to have the same spelling, and I'm not sure if it's U or O.
The next station is Etchingham.
Not only is the scenery beautiful today because of the snow, but also the sky is really playing tricks with me. Just look at how wonderful that sky is. You can even see the moon, and it's only about 10:30 in the morning. It was sunny half an hour ago. This is really chaotic. Anyway, here is Etchingham.
The next station is Robertsbridge.
I'll leave you for a minute just to take a look at these views. They're actually quite nice. And we are now approaching Robertsbridge. This, like almost all stations south of Tunbridge Wells, is a small village. Robertsbridge is believed to date back to 1176, where a Cistercian abbey was founded, and while dissolved in 1538, the village itself has flourished ever since. I don't believe many of these villages served on the Hastings Line have actually got particularly many things and facilities,
We will shortly be arriving at Robertsbridge.
but they all seem like very pretty places to live, and obviously have a good rail connection. A strange thing I find about Electrostar trains is the fact that, despite having openable windows, you aren't actually able to open them without a T key. The trains instead have aircon, which both methods have their benefits and their disadvantages. Our next stop is Battle, and I think that's one of the coolest station names on the entire UK network. Additionally, you may be wondering why the line is called the 1066 line, and thus I will explain the history of the 1066 line and the links to the Battle of Hastings. In 1844, the Southeastern Railway opened their line from London to Dover. In July 1844, they began a new line constructed from Tonbridge to Tunbridge Wells, where the 1066 line still begins today. Originally, there was no ascent for construction, but it was given a year later, in July 1845, by Queen Victoria. The line itself was constructed in 3 stages, from Tunbridge to Tunbridge Wells, from Tunbridge Wells to Robertsbridge, and from Robertsbridge to Bo Peep Junction, which is just past West St Leonard's, towards St Leonard's Square, and joins with the East Coastway line to Brighton and to Orr. The line today is very similar as it was. Mountfield Halt, which is around the area of filming right now, between Robertsbridge and Battle, opened in 1923 and closed in 1969, and electrification through 750 volts DC third rail was completed in 1986. Apart from the introduction of Class 375 Electrostars in the early 2000s, I don't think much has changed. Reading up about the history and the context of the line really takes me back to my history lessons many years ago. But anyways, the 1066 line is named after the Battle of Hastings, in which William, the Duke of Normandy, defeated King Harold II to become William the Conqueror, or William I, which was in fact in 1066. The 1066 line is called that because it serves Hastings, but more importantly, Battle, as in the town of Battle. The area of the town was unpopulated before 1066, but was the site of a battlefield. Since then, it's become a civil parish in the district of Rother, with a parish population of 6,673, according to the 2011 census. Anyways, we are now approaching Battle itself, although I hope not. I don't really want to fight anyone.
In the interests of your safety and security, CCTV is in operation on this service. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it.
It's more of a battle between me and the onboard announcements. Anyways, we've left Battle and we're now approaching at our next stop, Crowhurst. I wonder why the distance between the 2 platforms is so large. I should probably look this up. And the sun is shining as we approach St Leonard's. It's really been a roller coaster of weather today. It's quite pretty and appropriate for the sea. Mind you, I'd be happy going to the sea in any weather personally, and I actually love going to the sea in winter when it's freezing. Anyways, enough about me. This is a review about a train and not my life. And therefore, we are at West St Leonard's, our penultimate stop before St Leonard's Warrior Square, and 2 stops away from Hastings. Almost immediately after leaving West St Leonard's, we join the East Coastway at Bo Peep Junction. Southern trains travel just to the south of us towards Bexhill, Eastbourne and Brighton, and as you can see, there we are, we're joining it now and we're on the East Coastway. And we're now entering Bo Peep Tunnel itself. About a minute left to St Leonard's Warrior Square, so I think this is a perfect time to give my final thoughts. The advantage for this review is that I have spent many countless hours on Southeastern and the Class 375, so I'm very familiar with the fleet and the norms.
The next station will be St Leonard's Warrior Square. Change here for the southern services to Bexhill, Eastbourne, Lewes, Brighton and London Victoria. Once again, St Leonard's Warrior Square, next station stop.
Anyways, as I was saying, the general interior is really smart, and I have always found the 375s to be clean and generally nice to be on. The lighting level is really calm, something which many other new trains need to learn from. I especially have a high opinion due to the recent addition of plug sockets and USBs. Additionally, the seats on all of the 375s, this one included, except for the Dash 9 subclass, are incredibly comfortable and much better than some of the newer ones, such as the Class 387. My biggest complaint is that the toilets almost never work in at least one coach. on every train.
and London Victoria.
But generally, they're alright units to be on, quite nice. I often enjoy my journeys with them, so I rate these trains highly. Another nice journey with Southeastern, and always with top tier views as well. One of my most enjoyable reviews to edit actually, and to do itself. Right, I'm off to the sea. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I also hope you enjoyed the really stunning views from the 1066 line, and the sea here. If you want to support the channel, you can like or share or subscribe or do all three. But obviously I'm not forcing you. You can do what you like. You can dislike if you like. If you think that I need to do better, do dislike and I can learn. Most importantly, I hope you have a nice rest of your day.